Hi, so today we'll be talking about how business owners are using clipping as a service to outperform you in whatever industry you might find yourself in. And this is not only for business owners. If you're an influencer, if you are a creator, if you're an athlete, if you're a musician, or even if you produce films, clipping is how you mass produce awareness to wherever traffic you want to come to the products that you have. So if you're confused, I'll explain later how these business owners are doing it and the results they've gotten from using this service. But if you don't know what clipping is and you just clicked on this video just for interest sake, I went ahead to make this video specifically for you so you can learn much more about clipping. So just click on this video, you will learn what clipping is, you learn how it is used, how the systems are used, and at the end, I'm sure you might get a little bit, knowledge about it that you can use to your own advantage. So with that all said, let's get into the presentation. Okay, so let's get into it. Clipping for influencers. In whatever industry you might find yourself in, you will always be among one of these two categories. Either be on the winning side or the losing side. And we all want our names to be attached to the winning team, as always. So when we decide to play the game of social media, we want to have the same outcome, which is to be winning. Now, depending on whatever personality you have or industry you might find yourself in, the approach we take towards playing the game of social media will differ. Now, in the case where an influencer might be rooting for views, a business owner will be optimizing for those same views or impressions to convert into sales. So what this means is if an influencer is making content or is on social media, their sole purpose is to generate views in order to be famous and in order to be well known on the platform. But as in the case of the business owner, even though they are generating views, that is not the sole reason why they are on social media. The sole reason is to put their business or whatever products that they have to sell to the masses on social media so people can know it exists. And with this and the amount of views that they generate, they hope to turn those kind of the people that I've seen into customers to be able to buy whatever that they have. Hence why it is from generating the views to convert them into sales. Whereas when the situation of an influencer, they just need the views. They don't need something after that, right? So as you can see on the left here, that is an influencer who is just seeking for fame. And on the right side, it's a business owner who is optimizing that same fame or the views for the end goal, which is sales. So what does this mean for you? This means the way you approach to present yourself on social media will have to reflect the kind of results you are seeking for. So for example, the way an actress must present herself should be different from how a businessman, an athlete, an influencer, an e-commerce brand, down to even SaaS companies would. So before you start putting yourself on social media, you have to ask yourself the end goal of or what you are trying to achieve from social media. So you might get some advice from an influencer and you apply it as a business owner, and then at the end of the day you might not get the same results that the influencer has already achieved, because the end goal is specific to each personality, like I've already explained. If you are an athlete and you want to build your personal brand, there's nothing that you're selling. You just want awareness of people, so people know who you are, right? When you're an e-commerce brand, you don't want people to like you. You want people to be able to know what products that you have and have awareness about it. So when you generated more views and a lot of people know about it, they can go to wherever store or wherever websites that you have to be able to purchase the products that you are that you are trying to sell, right? So as this SaaS company, software as a service, if you have a software and you are on social media as an owner, or you are trying to create awareness around it, the main purpose is to get people to use it, not to become a famous founder, because at the end of the day, that's not going to help you, as opposed to an influencer that when they are famous, they can get brand deals and have TV show commercials and all those kind of stuff. So before you even get on a platform of social media, you have to ask yourself, what kind of personality I am, or what kind of business do I have, and what goal do I seek from these platforms before you even begin thinking about using social media and start posting on it. Now, with the understanding of how each personality or brand is supposed to be marketed differently, let's pick one and see how they will use clipping to outperform everyone in their selective industries on social media. So now we've talked about the importance of knowing who you are before you start using social media, and now let's talk about how business owners and influencers and these personalities are scaling with clipping. So like I said, we will take one of these personalities and we'll take our dear influencer, which is Kylie Jenner. Now, what we've learned from our previous slides is that these people, which is the influencers, their main thing is that they will be optimizing for fame. And when someone is optimizing for fame on social media, it breaks down into these categories, right? What is very important to them is their views, right? The amount of views is very important to them. The amount of likes they get is very important to them. The amount of shares and comments, and all these things, if there is a huge number in each category of these things, it all feeds down into fame. And that is what they are optimizing for. It's fame. That is why they are very keen on the views, the likes, the shares, and the comments, right? Because all this makes them, if there is mass views or number of views, and there is mass number of likes, and there is huge shares among people on social media, and the more they talk about that person, the more the person becomes famous. And that is what influencers want. Now, how do we achieve this goal, which is fame, on a massive scale with the use of the systems of clipping for an influencer? This diagram, as you can see, has 3 sections. On the top is little colorful boxes, and you can see them draining into each social media platform. Now, you might ask yourself, what are these boxes for? Well, with the clipping systems that we use for an influencer, we create multiple accounts, and those multiple accounts are representing these small boxes, that colorful boxes that you can see above. These are multiple accounts that we create on each platform, and however big the person or the influencer we are working with wants to be, it will correlate to the amount of accounts that we create. So if someone is just beginning and they have probably like 20,000 followers across all platforms and they've accumulated around, let's say, 10 million views in the span of 6 months, and they want to grow to probably 100,000 followers across all platforms and generate probably, let's say, 100 million views. With this goal, we will calculate and be able to see how many accounts that are needed to be able to generate that amount of growth in the span of 6 months. So the boxes are a representation of how much growth you want, right? And so when these multiple accounts are created, we make sure whatever contents that the influencer is trying to the influencer is trying to put out, we mass produce them by inserting them in each multiple accounts, or these multiple accounts that you can see at the top as colorful boxes. We insert them in each of these ones, and we track them, and we see what's working and what's not working, and we make sure whatever content that is going out through these multiple accounts is representing the brand identity that the influencer wants. So as you can see, if one account is putting out 2 clips in a day on TikTok, and you have probably, let's say, 10 accounts for that one personality, that means you are generating or you are putting out 20 amount of clips only on TikTok, right? And if a single clip is generating probably, let's say, 2,000 views, and if those 2,000 views are multiplied by 20, which is if each account is generating 4,000 views, and we have 10 accounts on TikTok, that is going to be 40,000 views, right? So if you are getting 40,000 views every single day on TikTok, as opposed to someone who is an influencer and they are only relying on their one account, you can see the amount of difference that is going to make, right? And this is just talking about, I'm just even talking about TikTok, because the amount of accounts you can also make on TikTok, you can duplicate that on YouTube, duplicate that on Instagram as also, and this depends on what platform you want to grow on, or you want people to see you on. And so when we create this multiple accounts, the amount of reach you get is so insane that sometimes the 10 or 20x is the amount of your reach that you normally get. And so your competitors are just, pushed aside when it comes to how the algorithm works with your content. And as you can see, so far as when we've created all these accounts, right? And let's say you have a main TikTok account, we make sure all the traffic that we are getting from the multiple accounts that we've created are all feeding into your main account. So all the people that are seeing will be able to see who you truly are and the original person on your TikTok. So it all feeds into it. And this are for influencers. So when people are seeing across all their feed, they'll be keen or interested in knowing, well, who is this person, right? So we make sure we direct them to your main TikTok or to your main YouTube channel or even to your main Instagram accounts. And as you can see written below, this is all these traffic are going to be feeding into your main individual social media platform. And that is how we create and put these clipping systems that make that gets to achieve the goal that the influencer is searching for. So as you can see, this is how we achieve this goal and make an influencer famous. And we can also do same for you, regardless of who you are or whatever you want to achieve on social media. Like, this is just a presentation that is for influencers, but if you're a business owner, if you are very different from an influencer, you are trying to achieve different goal. Clipping has a different kind of system that can be put in place to achieve that goal, whatever personality that you might be, right? So as you can see, you might be a movie actor, you might be an athlete, you might be a musician, a movie, you might have what's the name? You might be a movie director that you just made a movie, or a filmmaker that you want to promote your movie, right? Or you might have an e-commerce brand that you want people to be aware of whatever thing that you are selling. Or you might have a SaaS company that you want people to be able to solve their problems with your software. And so with clipping, we would just put the systems in place and we'll optimize it depending on what kind of personality or brand that you are, so you can reap much benefit from it. So as you can see, that's how we put the systems in place for an influencer. So be it you're a movie actor, the approach we take with you will be very different. Be it you're an athlete, it will be different. If you're a musician, so it will be very different. So as it goes for a filmmaker and e-commerce brand and SaaS companies, it's the same clipping, but it's the approach that we take for each personality that is going to be different. Now, and like I said, we have a tailored system for each personality to achieve whatever that you desire to get on social media. And that is how we build brand awareness with Clippit. So now that you have a little behind the scenes of what your competitors are doing to win over you, I hope you use this as a lesson to help your business and yourself to grow in 2026. And if you are seeking for professional help from, trying to use this, we actually have Instagram that you can check out to send us a DM, and we'll see whether you might be a right fit for us to work with you. Or you can book a call and schedule a time with us, and we'll talk to you to see whether you are in the right fit, for us to help you with this kind of service. And yeah, I hope this video was very valuable for you and your business, and I hope you use it right, and you make the right decision, because the attention game right now is very tough. And if you've been in business for a long time, you know how tricky social media can be sometimes. And if you are solely just relying on the old ways of doing things, you are just going to be buried under the algorithm. So I hope with the explanation of this video, you make the right choice.